Happy Monday. This is where we worked yesterday for a few hours here in the guest bedroom. Kenan lived in here for like a year and change, something like that. Before that, it had been redone by a designer, painted the walls, got this furniture in here and the knickknacks and made it pretty and functional for a guest bedroom. So we put that back together. We had to repaint this wall because as we redid the bathroom, which is on the other side of this wall, we had to beat out some of the tiles and the hardy board on the walls and just a lot of pounding on that wall in there, which forced some of the drywall screws out. We're talking a millimeter or two, but it chipped the drywall off. So we've since made those repairs, patched the holes, tried to find the paint. None of it matched, so we had to repaint. It's pretty much the same color. The old color is on the inside. That maybe a little less bright, maybe just because it's older paint. We didn't think, like, this is a pain in the ass to tape off and paint everything in the closet. So we just didn't. It matches enough. You'd never know if I didn't tell you. Anyways, we're back in guest room mode, which is great because we've got my aunt and uncle coming into town for a few days. Jeff is coming out soon. Luke and his girlfriend may make a visit. And now they've got a really nice, comfortable place to be with a free closet. The closet's got extra like toiletries and bathroom supplies in it. It's right next to the bathroom. And we even got a little guest log. So we're back in business. Come on out and visit. It's only $1,000 a night. Every spring, this hillside here by the highway goes crazy. Look at that. It is gorgeous. Wish it would last longer than a few weeks. Monday is 9:25. Wrapping things up for the day. God, I don't even remember. It feels like days ago that we got into this now. So the sticker bombed 530. Has the bumper off, has the fan out. We checked the relays, checked the fuses, crawled up under the dash. Spent way too much time in there. Everything seemed fine. So we skinned the bumper. That turned out to be really easy. No PDC, no headlight washers. Fog lights weren't even plugged in. It came out with the two T50s in the front. Looked at the wiring up here. This thing has turned orange inside, totally corroded. The pins are falling out of it. So obviously an electrical problem. You can't buy these socket contacts. At least I can't find them. So we've done the next best thing. Crimped another connector on there. That'll be fine. It's weatherproof. The fan is a TYC brand dated 2017, so that only got 5 years. We cleaned this up as best as we could in hopes that it'd spool back up. That did not happen. We got this car in the air for the first time today. Got to look at the front suspension. Pretty much everything shot. Struts are totally blown. The tie rod boot over here is destroyed. The straight arms ball joints were busted wide open. The curved arm ball joints were busted wide open. He approved that. So we've got new straight arms, new curved arms. We're going to defer the tie rods. The links are bad. We're going to defer those, defer the struts. He's got 215s stretched on these style 42s. You can really see it on this one. They're mismatching tires, but we just want to get it up and running. Brake pad wear sensor hadn't been replaced on the, he told me front left, so that's what I ordered. It's the rear right that he didn't put back together when he changed the brakes. So we ordered one of those. Put the wear sensor in so that lights off the dash. So there's no more warning lights on the dash. That's great news. Those headlights are now down here, unbranded, so you can tell they're proud of them. New fan comes tomorrow. We pulled the diesel valve, inspected the air intake boot. Air intake boot's fine. Diesel valve's destroyed. The pin was halfway out of it, by far the worst one I've seen. So I told him that's not really optional. You have to do that. So new diesel valve comes tomorrow. We'll get the new fan in tomorrow. We vacuumed out a whole bunch of shit from the condenser and radiator area in the front. Car's going to be very usable. No more warning lights on the dash. Rear suspension needs attention too. Blown shocks. This ball joint, both rear ball joints have a considerable amount of play in the wheel carrier, and that's just cost prohibitive for him right now. So that's going to be deferred. Axles are okay. Links are okay. Rear upper control arms are shot, but not with play yet. So I forget how many miles are on this. It's like 150 or 130 or something like that. It needs love, but it's getting a good bit right now, and we'll get more tomorrow. The black one, where is it? It's over here. I dug into that today. He wants the oil leak fixed. It's coming from the rear main seal, but I told him the last time I thought that, it ended up being a O-ring. In addition to the rear main seal on that red car, there's an O-ring on the cooler, the heat exchanger that was bad. So we said, all right, let's just bite the bullet, pull the intake manifold, and inspect. Let me show you. Okay, the light's on. Hopefully I don't get trapped under the hood if it falls on me here. We have a wet valley. That's where the oil pools. There's two little drain tubes that allow the oil to run down the back of the block behind the flywheel and then drip out and totally look like a rear main seal leak. Got to look at the valve covers. On that red car, we had a pinched valve cover right here where it meets the cylinder head. You cannot see that with the intake manifold with the plenum on. So that's why we wanted to pull the plenum. It's way easier to do that than it is to yank the transmission and have to buy a new clutch because you can't reset the pressure plate, and then pull the flywheel, and then you probably want to replace that. That's a big can of worms, an expensive can of worms. This one's a lot smaller. So we are going to have to do the heat exchanger in the valley right there. O-rings, that means opening up the thermostat housing, so that means new thermostat, new O-rings on the 3 tubes, one for each cylinder head, and then the middle tube is for the cooler. So that's what's going on here. And then he approved diff R&R, diff seals, diff bushings, motor mounts, power steering hoses. It's all the same shit. But, you know, the guy comes in, he's like, oh, let's replace the flex disc. And $12,000 later, he's got a 95% sorted car. So still no exhaust. And now we know not to put it back on immediately because we do need to get in there and yank the diff and reseal it and do the bushing. So plenty to do this week. E60's in here tonight. It's been driving beautifully. I've put a couple 100 miles on it over the last week or 10 days that I've been driving it. It's gotten dirty. It needs a spray down. Speaking of, I've been staying late doing that to the F10, which I planned on driving home, put it out front. I was doing emails, and my dad's texting me like, hey, it's raining down here, check. It's not gonna hurt the car, but we have a nice investment in detailing and film and things that would completely protect it from the rain, but then make it not look as pretty anymore. So it got a little misty. So then I was thinking like, oh, I'll wipe the glass off so you can see through it. Oh, well, now the paint looks bad. So I did the paint. And then I did the wheels, and then I vacuumed the car out. And then I did the door jambs because he doesn't like to do those, and vacuumed the door panels and the rear deck. There's just like some lint and hair back there. So now it's pretty much detailed back to perfection. I did everything but tire shine. I don't think they need them. Tires look great. So my back aches. I'm starving. I've got to get out of here. Rear right window regulators are no longer available from Euro, from Genuine. The only ones I can get my hands on are Dorman, and I think those are like an AutoZone crap-ass brand. So we're going to have to dig into our stash over there, see if we have a rear right door with a working OEM regulator in it, and put that in. Then the owner of the Sepang M5 dropped off a black center console. His was in really bad shape, and all center consoles should be black anyway, so we're going to put that in. The coders were here earlier today, spent a few hours trying to flash the DME to the manual software. 100% unsuccessful. They think it needs a DME. They're going to bring another one tomorrow, another MSS65 S85 DME, put that in there, try to flash that. If that works, then we know we have a bad one. Then we can decide if we want to buy a new one for $2,000 or go on eBay and buy one for a few hundred and attempt to code that. So I will keep you updated there. I think they're coming at 11. What am I missing? The 740's out back. They got the new water pump in today, and the gasket, this time it's sealed up well, but then there's a secondary air hose that kind of runs in front of the water pump between the cylinder heads, and one of the brackets sheared off of that. Somebody had been in there before and pried the hell out of it, and it's bent. It doesn't fit right, so we ordered a new one of those. It's coming Thursday. The customer's not thrilled, but it is what it is. He's easy to work with. Good guy. So that's what's happening. I'm gonna get out of here. So I jump in the Imola on the way home, turn the key, service engine soon. It just passed smog last week. Everything came online and ready pretty quickly, so I don't think it's anything having to do with emissions or CATs or O2s. It's probably the one pending code-related issue that we have in this car, and that's the, let me get this right, Vanos intake bank 2 timing, something like that. So we replaced the cam sensor there for the intake sensor on bank 2, no difference. The only symptom I have is on warm starts. You start the car up, it revs up to like 1,000, then it falls to 500, and somewhere between 1,000 and 500, it's almost like it skips a beat and there's just a bit of a stumble, and then it catches itself, and it's absolutely fine. It makes tons of power, it drives and handles beautifully. It's just that startup. So I wonder if it's that becoming more serious or more pronounced, or just enough repetitions that it trips a light. I suppose the next thing to do is send the boards out to Dr. Vanos. I think we've done plugs. I'll have to check. I think we have relatively new MAFs. I'd have to check. And we did that cam sensor. So at that point, I would send it out for diag, see if maybe the solder joints are bad or there's a bad solenoid somewhere. Of course, that incurs downtime, additional expense, and additional effort. Oh, never, ever, ever easy. I made a BL not a BLT. I don't like tomato. So I had a BL sandwich tonight. I had some carrots. I had some sun chips. There were 8 pieces of bacon on it, and I feel marvelous. I'm gonna go rest and sleep now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, Tuesday. Good night.